Hello, I thought I would try again. My last video was a little bit chaotic, so I have put a few systems in place. I cleaned the bench slightly before we start. So I'm making a sourdough. I'm going to make a wholemeal, half white. And first of all, we've got the sourdough starter. So as you can see, my elastic band is where it started. I've doubled it and it is smelling pretty good, and it's all bubbly. So what I've got in my bowl, you can have a look in there. There's just 2 cups of water. Now I'm going to put a cup of the sourdough starter in here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's put it in here. So organised. Got to stir it first. We're going to do that. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to shove it all in because I reckon that's a cup. So let's put that all in. And we'll stir that around. Leave a little bit in there, just a little bit for the next lot of bread. Okay, so in this bowl, I'm going to whisk it up, get everything nice and together. So I'm going to do that, and in the other bowl, I've got 4 cups of flour, so I've got 2 cups of wholemeal and 2 cups of plain, which is the double O, if you can see that over there. And I'm going to put some salt in that. So I've got 2 teaspoons of salt. So with this one, it's easy. You just mix it around to the salt and all the flours all combined. And when that's, flour's a bit lumpy. Anyway, so let's get all the lumps out. And when that's all out, we put a little well in the middle. So let's get on to this one. So here, as you can see, it needs a bit of work. Okay, this is taking a while, but we're almost there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the wet into the dry and then mix it with my hand. Move that, do the rest of it with that, just get everything in, last dregs. Okay, and then we just move it around until it gets into a nice ball. So it is just pretty, whoops, what I'm going to do with that. It is a pretty wet mixture, and I forgot to say this at the beginning, but this is a no-knead bread, so it's really, really great for when you can't be bothered going through all the tricks. When I first started baking, I would go through this method, and every half hour you had to knead it for 2.5 hours, and then you had to do the bulk rise, and then you had to go and do the bench shaping it, and then the bench rest, and then you had to reshape it again. And I think after about 72 hours it was ready to eat. So this is much more time efficient. So basically, if you can see that, you see it's very wet. Now, it is, because it's got wholemeal flour, I've been putting a bit of oil in, and it's not necessary. I'm going to do it anyway. So let's put some oil in with my wet hands. So just maybe a tablespoon, and just some olive oil there. And tell you what, with the oil, it just makes it so much easier. So, okay, so what am I going to do now? I'm going to put a damp tea towel on it. I'm going to mop up that mess as well. And just going to let it stand for 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, we're going to shape it. And then we're going to do the bulk rise. And then basically, and then you, of course, you leave it. So when you do the bulk rise, you can leave it for 2.5 hours, or you can leave it overnight in the fridge. If it's like, oh my God, my starter only just got ready at 6 o'clock at night, which has happened to me many times. Just not been organised. But another trick with the starter, if you use rye flour, it's so much better. And look, I have to creep all the way down here to see me. But anyway, we'll see you in half an hour. Okay, well, while we're waiting, we've got the 30 minutes to wait. It's not going to take 30 minutes. But anyway, we're going to feed the starter. So I'm just going to put 50 grams of flour, and I'm not going to make bread for a few days, so I'm just going to use just the white flour. But if I wanted to make bread straight away, I would use rye flour because it's so much quicker for it to start. So that's 51, and let's put in 50 ml of water. And of course, you should have filtered water, a little bit over, but that's all right because it was a bit dry anyway. Then we'll give it a good stir. And I'm going to pop the elastic band at where it's level, so then I know how well it's been working. But I'm going to put that in the fridge for a few days. Of course, it can last up to about a week in the fridge. So there we go. And put the elastic band down there at the start. You can see there, elastic band is at the start. Just put the lid on up. If you're going to keep it on the bench, keep it just put it on loose, but it's going in the fridge. I'm going to tighten it up. Okie doke. All right, and it's 30 minutes. So here we have the dough. We're going to put it out on a floured bench, slightly floured like this, and just to make it easier, just scrape it out with a scraper. So here, what we're going to do is just going to shape it. Now it's pretty wet, as you can see. So I'm going to flour my hands as well. Alright, just get the hands floured. It's just normal flour. And let's put that. So it's really easy. Just spread it out. Ooh, it's very wet. I put a bit more flour in it. I usually do. Let's get more flour. And if you need an extra helping hand, ooh, there you've got it. It's great device to get the bread off. Okay. fold it, and fold it, and fold it, and fold it. Oh yeah. And just shape it. So we're just tucking it in. Let's get the dough off my hands. Oh, it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. It is quite wet. So, I'm going to just put a bit more flour. Shake that a little bit more. And just turn it, shake it. Okay, so, now I find this easy. Get a bit of baking powder. And just flour it slightly. Oh, got dregs on my hands. And then we're going to put this ball of dough on top, like that. Then it's going to go in the bowl, and it's going to rest. I can put some flour on the top so nothing sticks. Oh, some dough as well. Doesn't matter. See what happens. It'll come off, I'm sure. And at this stage, you can put it in the fridge overnight. Let's take that fridge away. Or put the wet towel back on and keep it in a warm place for about 2.5 minutes. Okay, so what's happening now? I turn the oven on, I put the Dutch oven in, it's been in there for half an hour now, so it's ready to come out, and we're going to put the dough in, which is doubled, I'd say. So let's do that now. Okay, so just pop this in. Ooh. And I'm going to, I don't really have a sharp knife, but I'm going to make a pattern just to score it. Oh, this dough doesn't look that good actually. Looks a bit runny. It'll be interesting to see how this turns out then. Well, pop it in, put the lid back on, pop it in for half an hour, and see what comes up. Okay, I just took the lid off, and this is what it's looking like. Ooh, can you see that? Okay, and I'm going to put it in for another 15 minutes and turn it down a bit. Okay, the time's up. Let's check it out. Okay, it's looking pretty good. There it is. Okay, we'll come back and open it, cut it up, and see how it tastes.
So what have we got here?
Bit of cooked sourdough bread, ready to be cut. Look at that. That is good. Oh man.
Shotgun first piece.
Oh, you cut your own.
Yeah, you haven't cut a piece there, have you?
Oh.
Look at that steam.